Donald Trump on the record from Trump Tower. Donald, nice to see you, and thank you for letting me come to, is it Trump Towers?
Trump Tower.
All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. It is the article that came out today in which, in the heat of a divorce, 1989, your ex-wife accused you of rape, and then she came out in a book in 1993. I think she backed it down then, and then now she made a statement today in which she says that you're best of friends, and that those comments were made at a time of very high tension during my divorce from Donald. The story is without merit. Nonetheless, it's raining all over your parade today. So what do you have to say about it?
I don't think it is at all. I think we've been treated very unfairly. I've been treated very unfairly, and it never happened, obviously. Ivana was very nice. I mean, with no coaching, she read it, and she said it's totally false. She actually much stronger than what you said. And in fact, she essentially endorsed me. She said it'd make a fantastic, or whatever the word she used, president. And I was very honored that she did that. That was with no force, with no, I mean, she just came out and did that of her own volition. And it's a total false thing put out by a website that's failing and losing a lot of money, and it's going down the tubes. And I think it's amazing what the press is allowed to get away with nowadays, that they can come out with a thing, and somebody like me has no recourse because the libel laws are so pathetic and so weak that you can't bring litigation or lawsuits. But it's totally false, and Ivana said it was false. You can't do any better than that.
Was Ivana called beforehand before it's published, and were you called before it's published? I don't know if you know if Ivana was or was not.
How many years are you talking about? So many years ago.
No, but I mean, did you get a phone call yesterday? What's the story?
Oh, you mean before?
Oh, no, I
we
mean
did.
In the last...
Actually, I didn't get a phone call. My lawyer got a phone call, and he said, we'll sue if you write it because it's totally false. I don't think Ivana was called at all, but when she read it, she put out a statement that it was false.
All right.
I mean, you can't do better than that. She put out a statement that was false, and actually, you shouldn't even be asking the question after reading her statement. But if you want to ask it, it's fine.
All right. Well, it's a fair question since it's all you're a public figure. Obviously, you're running for president. It's a question that was raised. We now have the statement.
Well, I'd say it's a semi-fair question. I mean, to be honest with you, it's something that never happened, and they make it up and they do all of this nonsense. And I actually think it's probably somewhat of an unfair question, but the fact is it never happened, and Ivana said it never happened.
Are you surprised, though, that this would come out, or do you expect more things or people are going to come at you from old things?
I think it came out many years ago. I mean, I actually think it came out years ago. And, of course, there's a difference now. You're running for president and you're leading in all the polls, so maybe things come out in a much stronger fashion. But I think that was out years ago, and it was denied then, and it wasn't true, and now it's, I think, maybe the denial by Ivana was even stronger now.
You mentioned polls. New Hampshire, you've got a substantial lead there. What's your explanation for that?
I think people are tired of being pushed around and being represented by incompetent politicians. You look at these politicians, the way they're representing us, it's a disgrace. Whether it's the Iran deal, where you have to wait 24 days before you can take a look at what they're doing. And by the way, the 24 days doesn't start for a long time. You look at all of the things that are happening in this country, China ripping us off, Japan ripping us off, Mexico taking advantage because their leaders are so much smarter than our leaders. And I think people are tired of it. They're tired of politicians, they're tired of incompetence, and they're tired of all talk, no action. And the people of New Hampshire, the people of Iowa, these are amazing people, because I'm doing great in Iowa too. And they're amazing people, they're great people. They want to see our country be great again, and no politician's going to be able to do that.
Now, President Obama is talking about you in Ethiopia. First of all, he's talking about Governor Mike Huckabee. He was critical of Governor Mike Huckabee about the comment about the Holocaust and the ovens and the Iran deal. Where do you stand on that?
I mean, I'm okay with it. I think he's a very good guy, Huckabee, by the way, and I'm really okay with it. I see some people are, saying, oh, the tone and the... I saw Jeb Bush, who I think is also a nice person, but it's not about tone. I mean, they're chopping off Christians' heads in Syria and lots of other places, and we're worried about tone. I think what Mike has done is he's hit a nerve, and he's made people think a little bit. If he says it nice and softly, maybe that's not the way it is. Look, this deal with Iran is a terrible deal. And if they do, because I think it's going to lead to nuclear proliferation more than anything else.
You tweeted that.
I said it. I said it. I think everyone else is going to start to arm with nuclear, and that will happen, and it could happen fairly quickly. I think it's a disastrous deal. I think it's an incompetently done deal. And the smallest part of it, but still important psychologically, we don't even get our 4 people back. We get nothing. We get nothing. You know, they got a couple of years ago a nuclear scientist back. We get nothing. And the theory was, because they said, how come? We don't get them because they said it was too complicated to ask. Too complicated. They didn't read the art of the deal, by the way. But you think of it, too complicated to say, fellas, give us our prisoners back. We want them back. That's all you have to do. That's not complicated.
So what would you do? I mean, what President Obama says that that they're 2 or 3 months away from a nuclear weapon. If we don't have a deal, that they will get a nuclear weapon.
Well, the time to do it would have been earlier, where you double up the sanctions.
All right. Well, in light of the fact that we are where we are.
Look, okay, let's not play games. You cannot let them have a nuclear weapon, okay? Now, if you have to do something that's very stringent and very strong, then you have to do it. Now, from what I hear, everybody knew that Bush was not going to attack. You know, the Persians are great negotiators. The Iranians are great negotiators. They're fabulous negotiators. Once they knew there would be no attack, because Bush let it be known he wasn't attacking, they felt 100% certain that there was going to be no attack under Bush. Under Obama, they felt 1,000% certain that there was a... Once there was no threat of an attack, they took us to the cleaners. They took us absolutely, Greta, to the cleaners, because they had no downside.
So where, if you were president today, where would you take it from here? What would you do?
Well, I wouldn't have made the deal.
I got that.
Yeah, but you can't put me in that position.
Well,
I mean, this guy has put us in such...
You're going to be in that position.
He's put us in such a bad light. The one thing I do, assuming it's going to pass, which everybody tells me it's going to pass, what I'm surprised at is that I actually thought that Israel had more power over some of these guys, like Senator Schumer. He's rolling over for Obama. I know him very well. And he's rolling over for Obama, and that actually surprises me. You would think that Israel would put tremendous pressure on Senator Schumer not to allow this deal to happen, because he can kill the deal. Schumer can kill the deal. But it's a very sad situation for this country, and a very dangerous situation for us, but in particular for Israel. Israel's right. This is a disaster for them.
All right, but it looks like there's a good shot that it's going to happen. And if you become president...
I inherit a bad deal.
Okay, so you
and I've inherited many bad deals. Right, I like to inherit bad deals. This is one I don't love inheriting. I would do inspections so carefully, so thoroughly, and if they make one mistake, boom, they have got problems. And they're going to have to know that the consequences are really serious. We're not talking about, oh, gee, with sanctions, and the consequences are serious, because they're very close to having the bomb right now. They're very close to having it as we speak. You know, all during this long tap-tap negotiation, they've been working on this. These are smart people. They've been working on this. I mean, did you ever see a deal take so long? Finally, the deal gets done. It's a horrible deal. They go and they celebrate the deal in the streets of Iran, and our people are devastated, because the most basic young student knows this is a bad deal.
Well, why do you think President Obama and Secretary Kerry like it?
Maybe they're not bright. Maybe they're... I mean, I've watched Kerry negotiating, and I said to people, is he bright? Is he an intelligent man? Maybe they're not bright. There's something wrong with them. As an example, why not say, like, it can't be 24 days. It's got to be like, we have to go in immediately. You know, the time, right, anytime, anywhere. But
what they say is that you can't dismantle in 24 days without leaving some fingerprints of a program.
Of course you can. 24 days. Don't forget, the 24 days doesn't start for a long period, because you have to give them notification, and then there's a whole process, and then the 24 days kicks in. This thing could take a long time. Of course they can do. You know, to have almost like a month to do what they can do nowadays with movement and getting things nice and cleaned, and then they'll paint the floor, nice battleship gray, and everything will look beautiful, and you say, oh, gee, nothing's happening here. You gotta give me a break. It's ridiculous. Why 24 days? Why so long? But it's not even the 24 days. It's a process before you even get to the beginning of the 24 days. So they've got plenty of time. But forget that. It should be 24 hours. It should be immediate. If we want to go in, it should be immediate. Look, everyone knows that Iran is going to cheat, okay? They're right now, as we're speaking, going to take over Iraq. I mean, Iraq is dealing with Iran. We spent $2 trillion, thousands of lives, wounded soldiers warriors who I love, who are all over the place. I mean, these poor people, they went over there, and what do we have? Right now, Iraq is negotiating with Iran. Iran is taking over Iraq. just as I've been predicting for many years on your show.
All right.
And every other show.
Let me switch to another topic. Governor Bush likes Common Core. What's your position on Common Core?
It's ridiculous. He's in favor of Common Core, meaning he wants children from Iowa, from New Hampshire, and every other place to be educated from Washington. I'm totally opposed to it. He wants the children to be educated by some bureaucrats from Washington that, look, I'm not saying in all cases, but in many cases couldn't care less. They just want to collect a check. And it's obviously not working because in the world, I think we're number 25 in education. Think of it. The United States is number 25 in education. Education should be local. Education shouldn't be a bunch of bureaucrats from Washington saying what they should do in New Hampshire, Iowa, and every other place.
President Obama.
And by the way, Bush is strongly in favor of it. And it's not working. But think of it, we're number 25. There are 24 nations ahead of us. Some of them are like third world nations.
All right, President Obama from Ethiopia, besides taking a slap at Governor Huckabee, took a slap essentially at you and Senator Cruz, basically talking about sort of an uncivilized discourse in terms of the campaign. He also said that if he could run a third time, that he thinks he'd be reelected again.
I think he would fail miserably if he ran again. I would beat him so easily. Look, Mitt Romney, he's a nice man, but he failed. Whether he choked, I don't know, something happened. In the last month, it was almost like he locked himself in a cabin. He didn't do anything. And I give Obama credit. He was on Jay Leno, he was on David Letterman, he was on the different shows, and he was out there. And I'd say to Romney's people, why aren't you guys doing television now? Why aren't you doing something? And it ended up being a loss. That was an election that should have been won. Obama would get creamed if he ran again.
Ran against you?
Oh, I would love to run against him. I would love to run against him. I don't think I'm going to get the chance to run against Hillary because what she did is criminal. And it's going to be very interesting to see whether or not, I think I will get the nomination. I think, look, people are tired of these politicians. They're tired of tone. Bush was saying the other day, oh, the tone. They chop off heads. The border is a disaster. The whole world is a disaster. We're talking about tone. We need energy. We need enthusiasm. And we need a much tougher tone, not a weaker tone. And Hillary said the same thing. But Hillary is going to have a hard time getting the nomination. When you get rid of hard drives, when you get rid of all of the things she got rid of, all these thousands and thousands of emails, remember this, General Petraeus, they destroyed his life for doing much less than she did.
Who do you think will get the Democratic nomination if you think she won't get it?
I think maybe Biden will get into it. I'm not sure. Bernie Sanders certainly has made an impact. I mean, the two of us, they're the ones that people are talking about. Not that I want to be compared to him because I don't consider it a very nice comparison, to be honest. I think he's way off. Although we feel sort of similar on trade. It's very interesting. He feels we're getting taken advantage of in trade. On that, he's right.
All right. Are you preparing for the debate or are you going to wing it?
Well, it's not a question of winging it. I am who I am. I have no pollsters telling me what to say. I mean, I don't have people coming up to you and say, do this, do that. I am who I am. It's a real world.
But have you thought about it? Have you asked?
Of course I think about it.
Have you asked about what the rules are?
Right, I've never debated before. I create jobs. I build beautiful buildings. I do a lot of things. I've never debated before. I will say this, although my whole life in a way is a debate. But these guys, that's all they do, politicians. They talk, and they keep talking, and nothing ever happens. And I say they're all talk, no action. But all they do is debate. They run for office, and they keep running. They win, they lose, they win. All they do is debate. I never debated before. I don't know. Maybe I'll be great. Maybe I'll be terrible. I don't know. I have no idea. I know this. No matter how good I am, the press will say it wasn't good. Because the press is very dishonest.
The press doesn't like you?
I think they're very dishonest. I mean, I found the financial press to be pretty honest over the years. I find, and maybe it's easier because it's numbers, I don't know. But I find that the political press is unbelievably dishonest in many cases. I'd say 60% of the case. So with the debate, it'll be interesting to see, even for me. I don't know.
All right. Is it fair to say, though, that you're looking forward to the...
I do. I look forward to the debate. I think I know what I know. I'm a great jobs producer. Everyone says I'll be the best leader in every poll. I'll be by far the best leader. And by far, economically, I'll be the best.
What's your weakness?
Well, some people think I'm not a nice person, and I actually am. I love people. I think you know I'm a nice person, but some people think maybe it's the You're Fired and the Apprentice, who knows? But some people think I'm not a nice person. But you know what I tell somebody that said that really wants me to win? They said, but Mr. Trump, can you be nicer? I said, look, I don't think this election is going to be won by a nice person. I think people want competence for a change. We need really, really smart, competent people. And if we don't get that kind of leader and leadership, and in particular at the level of the president, this country is in big trouble.
Donald, always nice to see you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.